We are live? Yes, we are. Welcome everybody to Blender Today, live number 82. I have a little bit of voice left from this epic weekend that was the Blender Conference 2019. Over 570 people, or at least tickets sold. I hope they were not all at the same time, but they were just... It was insane. Every year we say that the Blender, this Blender conference was the greatest, and then the next year, it was the best, and this next and next and next. But it just keeps getting better. Really, it's like the quality of the talks and the whole production, and then more people. We moved into a new venue this time, a new place, a whole new building. And it still felt like close. It didn't feel like, we are now 500 people, so it will be hard to hang out, as opposed as it was last year. Was around over 300 people, which is still a lot, but now it's quite some. And it still felt like nice and close, and I really liked it. So we're gonna talk about it. Recently, somebody was asking here in the chat, like, hey, is this a normal Blender today? And no, it's not gonna be a normal Blender today. It's gonna be a more chilled and more like hanging out Blender today. Actually, they were asking me here in the studio. They were today at lunch. He's like, "Are you gonna make a live stream today?" And I was like, I think I should, because it's hanging out, right? It's this thing to keep the community together. Thank you everybody for the feedback and for watching the live stream that I did on during the conference. That was insane. Yes, I know people are looking for my suit, but this is my suit. This is my Blender Code Quest hoodie. I was wearing a suit in the, I don't know if you've seen it. If you haven't, they don't see it, but it was a talk that I gave, a presentation at the conference where I do this thing, Blender Today, in a more like a talk show fashion, you could say. So let's get to let's see. But actually there has been a few new things in Blender 2.81 and 2.82. 2.81, as we know, is not gonna get anything new, but there was one change that is worth mentioning on a shortcut, and then a few new things in 2.82. But really, all the efforts were focused on bug fixing, and also many of the developers were here in Amsterdam for the conference, so yeah, it was hard to code and at the same time enjoy the conference. So let's go through the new ones. So let me here get the thing going. I by myself, I almost put the dual camera here. I have it as a backup just in case some of the developers show up. Actually, there are many going around. There is Dalai Felinto. So over there, I'm in a meeting with Sergey and Bastien about the whole organization, meeting developer stuff. On the other side, I just saw Pablo Vazquez with Julian Kaspar, the artist here, working upstairs on sculpting tools and painting tools, and together with William from the UI team, and there's and Julian Isol also working on the UI. So I was thinking like I could gather everybody for the show, but I think it's better if they work. If I see them passing by though, here next to my office, I'm definitely gonna call them and just like come over. But if they're working, let them work. This is live, by the way. It's 7 minutes by 5 p.m. We changed our time in Europe. I think in some other countries it's the next week or so, or it was something like that. This is the new time. It's 1 hour earlier, one of those. So I'm gonna answer questions live towards the end of the show after talking a little bit about the conference. The thread here is already created by Joseph. Thank you very much. And you can ask your questions there. I'm gonna answer towards the end of the show. Blender.Today or Blender.Community, and go to the Today community. All right. I like this channel so much. So nice. Wasn't it weird also to just, used to getting one live stream per week, and now getting all these videos all at once? I hope it wasn't too annoying. let's see what's new. In 2.81, one change was made recently on a shortcut for batch rename. If you follow the show, you know that in the last few, I think right before the end of the new features were allowed in 2.81, the batch rename feature was added, which you can find in Edit, Batch Rename. This feature was added to Alt F2 originally, but now it got changed to Control F2. So Alt F2, it seems that it has conflict in some operating systems, especially on Linux using GNOME or KDE, which are the major window managers. So it was changed to Control F2 because it's not being used in, apparently it doesn't conflict with the Mac or Linux or Windows. So it's just a heads up that the shortcut changed for batch rename. For 2.81 even. So regarding 2.82, there is one feature that it's worth showing. During the implementation of the tool system for 2.80, a lot of people were asking how could we trigger these tools with a shortcut. So one thing that was added, remember, is the shift space pop-up that will let you choose between the tools. You can also hold it and then release and enable it. It will show here the tool, but it's weird because it shows an R, but actually if you press R, you enter the direct mode, which is fast, which is nice. So it could be a bit confusing, especially if you had it expanded. You would see that it would it looked weird because you have the shortcut here, but it's not really a shortcut unless you press it while the thing is open. So it can be confusing. This new shortcut is actually a modifier that you press. You press Alt and then release. So press it, release, and then you can enter into the whatever tool you want with the same shortcut that you would use for just executing it. So in this case, for example, I can press G and I move it. I select, or the move tool for grabbing is active. So can be hard to grasp at the beginning, but actually it's pretty powerful because it means that you can chain events. Basically, you can press Alt and then enable the other tool that you want. For example, M for measure, Alt and annotate, which is D for draw, and then you can switch them easily. The thing I'm most excited about this change, though, is the possibilities that it opens, because it means that if this system is implemented, it means that I can chain any shortcut, I hope, because then I could do Alt and then you start almost typing the tool, and then you can do M and X for mirror or multiple tools. So then you don't have to press them all at the same time. And the way it's implemented, it doesn't conflict with the other shortcuts. So of course, if you move and you do Alt G, it's gonna hold Alt and then press G, it's gonna clear the location. But if you do first press hold the Alt and release and then press G, it's gonna change to the move tool. So if I have it here, Alt and then G, it's going to change to the move tool. So this is part of the improvements done to the tool system, which you can find in this task in developer.blender.org. The task here, you can find it. It talks about leader keys or also chained keys. The status bar, as you can see, changes once you press Alt. You enter into this changing tool mode. You see the Alt key is here on the leftmost side, and then you have the other tools that you can enable. It's pretty handy. Pablo, time to wake up. Sorry, I'm a bit down today. I'm trying to get all my energy back from all the Blender conferencing and the talking and the stuff. So sorry if I'm a bit slow today. Let's fix this. What else is from this feature? I think that's pretty much it. There is a few more details here you can read in the task itself. It's the T61992 shortcuts for tool design task by William Reinisch. Right, next. Do the face slap. No, I'm not gonna face slap myself. I have a life to do that for me. All right, two other additions that are more like lower level, because these changes are internal changes, but it's more for like add-on developers. So there is a utility now to show icons for the key map item. So you can assign a icon to a key map. So a key map item. So you have this the shortcuts, for example, in your add-on, and you want to assign an icon so it shows nicely in the status bar. Then you should check out this new change. It's also a utility that was added in the window manager to look up a key map item from an event. So you can get an event, see where what the key map item is, to show it, for example, in the status bar, and from there you can get the you can show the icons. So it's gonna make hopefully this is gonna make add-on makers use the toolbar more and have their own icons show up down here and make it all super nice and custom. All right, next. I see a bunch of questions here in the live stream. Go to Blender.Today and ask them there, please, so we can read them all at the same time. And that's pretty much it. That was all about what's new in Blender today. There's a lot of fixes, many fixes that I can't go through them right now, but if you are interested for some reason, you can always go to Blender Master, or if you're using the 2.81 and you want to know which fixes were done in 2.81, you can go to this place. If you want to know how it is you go to Blender and then Diffusion, and then you find the Blender BF. Blender. I am on the web stuff, but it's here. Blender branches. Find the 2.81 release branch, and then here you can find all the fixes that were done lately in 2.81. Even on the weekend there were fixes, cleanups. All right. Next. There's no next. The next is what was actually. It's Blender Conference 2019. So who of you watched it live? Did you manage to watch it live? The people on the stage there, on the venue, did an amazing job. The quality was awesome. The screen in the back was like super nice. On the first day, it seems that there wasn't a lot of focus on sharing the screen instead of the speaker. It seems maybe we should have told them beforehand that they should focus more, like this is a very visual conference, so we should focus more on showing what's going on the screen rather than the person themselves. So that's our bad. We try to fix it. We read all the comments. We mentioned it to them. So the second day and third day should be better. All the videos should be better. So the first day, maybe those talks are a bit more focused on the screen. Sorry about that. By far, I mean, I shouldn't say favorites, but Ian's was like out of this world. If you haven't seen it, or you probably have because it's like 50,000 views already. It's the most popular presentation in the whole conference so far. So if you know Ian is the lazy tutorials. He's known for the lazy tutorials like now recently, but actually he's been around forever. He mentions this on his lives, on his presentation about how it's lazy, but actually he's been doing this for forever, for many years. So it's not like he just started doing it this way. He went the other way and modeling everything, all the details, and then slowly started removing it and making it a bit more simple. So if you haven't watched it already, go watch it. It's like a lazy tutorial, but half an hour long. and it goes through all the how he actually makes it happen in real life, and he has built a set and then starts replacing things, even for taking pictures of places, like going to a coffee shop and then take a picture and then use those as a reference to model on top of them. And it's just so inspiring. So go check it out. It's amazing, really nice. Next, all the presentations were really nice. Like there's Tangent Animation had the presentations also. There is a community meetings, there is artwork, there is all kinds of the modeling techniques. That one I missed it, but there are I'm reading the comments and everybody's super saying like, oh, thank you for this, I learned a lot. So I'm actually looking forward to have the time to watch it, because it's really yeah, everybody says it's super nice. So I have to go and watch some of them. There is a video sequence by Nathan Lovato, by GD Quest. It's just so much. You should go and check them out. The one about Blender.Today, which I should probably mention here. So we can skip my face for a while and move into the guests. So I had Ian Ewart as a first guest. I was the I just wanted to have a little chat with them. I mean, outside of, making tutorials or just showing stuff. And it's just chatting. It's like, hey, so how do you how you use Blender daily and what's new in Blender? The whole point was to have them answer the question of what's new in Blender, which usually it's me, the one that I have to say it every week. So I wanted to show how it varies depending on who you ask. Blender means something different for anybody, really. Blender, for some people, Blender is their sculpting tool. Some people only do UV modeling. Some people use it as a video editor, even. Just that. Why? Reasons. Then for people like Sergey, he's a developer, so that's what he's focused on the most. And after talking, I also talked with Daphne. She's using it for more like CAD or like more precision modeling, 3D printing. So using Blender in less of a focusing on the I don't know, VFX, but more on the actual results that you can get with Blender. So it's very nice. And then I had the Captain Dissolution here, and also very nice, very inspiring to see how he uses Blender, and the fact that he came from he came all the way just for the Blender conference. After even he didn't even have a presentation like last year. It's just to share, just to be having fun, and that's like heartwarming, really, to see that it has this impact in the community even after all these years. And I wanted to finish. I finished it with Francesco, which I was trying to avoid having people from the studio, people that I see their faces every day. But in this case, having a Francesco is gives you a completely different perspective of what is Blender for people, right? For him, a Blender is more from a producer point of view. He produced Caminandes, and he's helped with the Gooseberry project, also development, but also anything. The Blender conference was mainly organized by him, and he was all behind the scenes making sure that everything was working. So I tried to show Blender from all sides. So that was my presentation. So thank you everybody for having watched it. Look at the screen in the back, it's super nice. And yeah, very nice. I didn't know Pablo had legs. I do have legs. Well, not here. I chopped them off before this live stream, but yeah, the suit jacket. So nice. Anyway, okay. Then the presentations, there was, well, regarding Blender.Today, I think maybe it could be a tradition, right? Maybe is it a tradition if it just starts that way and then it becomes a tradition or not? It has to happen a bit more than once. The other this tradition could happen at the end of the first day. I think there is some room. At the end of the second day of the conference, usually you have the Suzanne Awards and the dinner. There's event. Then we also have at the end of the third day, we have the developers AMA, Ask Me Anything, which still has to be uploaded, I think. But that would be, I know it's actually uploaded. Yay, that wasn't uploaded yesterday. Now it is. So I think Bastian uploaded it and you guys should check it out. Basically, it's like what I do here by answering questions, but by the actual developers themselves. So check it out. And at the end, another tradition that that Ton brought back. It's a tradition that started last year. It was asking at the Ask Me Anything. It was like, okay, what should the Blender Foundation focus on more? Like the one feature that should be focused on. Of course, we should be focused on many things, asset management or UDIM, all of that. But the one of these. What happened? There's people coming into the studio, sorry. Into the studio, if I could call it a studio, but here. Come over, sorry. Hello. Come more. There you go. Look who is here.
You told me to be here before 6, I didn't understand why.
Before 6, because I'm kind of doing this live stream, so here, let's set you up. Here, let's twist it. And sorry for being... for this unexpected visit, but I think it's worth it, isn't it? So you put this pointing to your face, and I was talking about the new tradition that Ton was bringing into the Blender conference, which is asking people what is the main focus they want for next during the next year.
What did you think about that?
At the beginning, I thought it was like, that's a bad idea. We shouldn't do it. But then I think it's a nice, it shows what people want. In this case, it was compositing.
And I think on top of that, regardless of what it is, I think it shows a very clear message, because we have the funders, have big companies getting behind the Blender project, and they do have their own feature request list in a way. They have their own developers. We don't do you don't pay for feature, but if they have their own feature they're gonna push further, the community should be listened to as well. The community just as important stakeholder, if not more, than any of those partners. So I think that's really drove home with this. So I think that's my reading of this whole situation.
Yes, I was mentioning that it doesn't mean that Blender, like the BF, would only focus on compositing and then it will leave all the other areas out. We are gonna the whole plan is still there for the sequencer, for the asset manager, for everything. But now that the compositor is getting at least the people shouting and saying, hey, we need compositor.
And multi-layer painting.
Multi-layer painting, yes, that's another big thing.
It was a tie.
It was a tie. You think it was it?
Maybe composer, they were more loud, but I think maybe there was a tie in terms of users.
So they were shouting a bit more?
They were like raising both hands, so the hand counting was a bit confusing.
Yes. So in this case, well, I mean, I don't know, because multi-layer painting, whatever thing, I already trust. I mean, it's Pablo Vazquez who's thinking about this already. So it's like, it's gonna happen regardless. But the compositor doesn't have a maintainer per se right now.
No, yeah, the room is busy with something else. Maybe you can contact Monique. Maybe she would like to come back on board if you can. I don't know.
That would be awesome.
I don't talk about finance here, so.
So yeah, very nice to have all the developers here together. Super nice. Cool. So, hello. There's people saying hi to you, Dalai.
Hello, Social Mix.
Is everything okay? I just improvise here. It's raising the volume of the microphone. Is everything okay? Multi-layer sculpting. How's that?
They're just trying to mix multi-layer sculpting.
So you can layer sculpting, of course. The sculpt
like
changes.
Multi-res, when you can have different sculpting there in different level of detail.
Yeah, maybe that's it. All right. I was basically just going through my favorite presentations. There's a Gleb also is pretty nice. What were your favorite presentations that you have?
I think the one everyone should watch is the one about grease pencil on the first day.
Grease pencil on the first day. There is no. I actually
trash your previous, something like this.
Ah, this one, Robo Silvestri. Do not trash your previous.
Yeah, it was so good and really shows a whole VSC centric pipeline, the editor centric pipeline at Tangent, and it's so aligned with what the Grease Pencil team is trying to do when it comes to be able to quickly switch from the main editor of the film to one scene and then back and forth. And
wow.
they did it in a very... Have you seen this one?
No, I couldn't. I was freaking out at home preparing my presentation for Blender.Today. But it's, they are using it for...
This is one of the... This is not the Children of Maya or the other announced projects. This is Mamu, I think, Moma. But it's a thing they're using as a test to test a new pipeline. And they're really impressed. And it worked so well for them.
Awesome.
So they're using Grease Pencil and 3D assets for the previews, and this would help them to build the layout with already, the final camera lens and the camera positions, camera animation. The other thing about Grease Pencil is not just an animatic or just a storyboard, that we actually have the real scene there, so we can just build the scene on top of that.
Awesome.
It's really good.
Look at how pro the presentations look. Actually, well, like the whole splitting of the screen, and that's amazing.
What was let's see the other one. The Ian, of course, Ian one.
The Ian is like insane. I'm gonna watch that one. I'm gonna keep it.
That was the one that I really wish everyone could watch it.
Yeah, I think all of the presentations, pretty much all of the presentations have really...
I like the Seabug a lot.
Oh, really?
But that was how to build a community that lasts. Was a 10-year anniversary of the Seabug, the Seattle Blender user group. But I've been there like a few times. But I was so close to Vancouver.
Ah, that's why you like the presentation. So you're biased.
Totally by everything.
But what do you get out of it? Like anybody could build their own Blender user group on their city?
Yes, he was and I like it because it was very data driven, even the presentation. So there was a few polls that it was going around the different user groups and how many time they dedicate to make it work well, how often a user group should be so it lasts longer. What's the ideal length? How usually you structure? You actually will do something very similar to the Blender.Today.
Oh.
Where the first hour you just go over what's new in Blender, and if there's nothing else to say, there's always content that he can talk about.
So there is a Blender.Today in Seattle.
Oh,
kind of
presential live Blender.Today.
Awesome. Wow. Well, yeah. What? This is everything, like dental modeling application. Daniel Weisted talking about the glowing tigers.
Your presentation was really good as well.
Live
show.
I already talked about it already. It's I wasn't keeping it for the end. This one, the one from by Alessandro Zamparelli. This one is getting lots of love and praise. And I arrived just for the end of it, so I missed a big chunk. I'm gonna watch it again, but it was super well presented. Look at these nice graphics.
Oh wow!
And
I didn't watch it.
No, you haven't. Look at the comments are crazy. It's like it's insane. Like game changer, one of the best add-ons. This guy's a genius. Like testament of the power of Python API. Like yeah,
oh, wow.
Eye-opening. So. If the YouTube comments say that, it must be really good. And look at the amount of he really worked.
For Daniel Pepperland talk you mentioned.
Oh no, I haven't mentioned on that
one. So good.
Yeah, no.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, I was there. I watched it live. So here, Grease Pencil feature. And, well, but also he talked in Blender, the Blender OIS. On that one, I got it a bit more in detail. I could ask him. But yeah, that's another one that must be checked out. I wish they would show more of the screen sometimes here.
I hope we can. I don't know how to do it, but I guess we could download the slides and watch it.
Get them the slides, yeah, and then and re-edit them. But they should be like this the whole conference, I think. So nice to keep for the next live stream.
Francisco one, everyone's talking about it. But there's no recording yet.
No,
I missed it. It's kind of sad.
I watched it. It was amazing. Changed my life. No, but almost, because it talks about Blender in numbers. So it gives you an idea of the Blender download use and through the whole process until how developers also how much time they spend fixing a bug, how the life of a bug report, and then everything.
Yeah, I really want see it. Did you talk about the Ubisoft one? That was actually...
No, I haven't talked about
Did you watch
that.
it?
I was there, yeah. I was watching it from the
Stream?
no, from live. I was somewhere up there.
I think I was in the first row.
You were in the first. You were always in the first rows, right?
Not sometimes. The moment I learned that you get on camera if you're close to the screen, I was always no.
Nice.
I like it how it's in a way it's a Blender user with story that's very similar to a lot of people out there, but he was in the right place at the right time, and it was really fundamental, I think, to push the whole Ubisoft Blender agenda. He wasn't in the decision-making groups, but he was being called in, and so because for me, this Ubisoft Blender came out of thin air. But then I learned, there's someone there that really cares about Blender, built a whole learning process within Blender, and this is expanded to the whole company. Yeah,
that actually, for people that wonder, like all this Ubisoft thing is like, I came out of nowhere. That's like exactly what you say. If you watch this presentation, you will see that actually Pierre here has been using Blender. He's like since he's a kid, and now it was a dream come true for him to present at the Blender conference his use of Blender at Ubisoft, and they have an internal community of 300 something people, like an internal community, like a chat thing, and they share Blender news and how they use, like it's insane. So Pierre is doing an amazing job at doing this inside of Ubisoft and sharing awareness. So do it on your own company.
Be persistent.
Yeah, you can get it done. He's also using Krita and sharing it in there. So I wonder if Ubisoft also could be supporting Krita at some point. That would be awesome.
Fantastic.
That would be amazing.
We did have 4 Krita developers in the conference.
Yes, yeah, they were showing their HDR painting with Krita. And also sponsored, that development was sponsored by Intel, I think.
Yeah, because they had the whole, even the screen that was there, the HDR monitor. It's so have you seen an HDR monitor before?
No. First time.
I looked and said, there's something, couldn't even put my fingers on. I knew there was something strange or something. And it was a freaking HDR.
Yeah, and it's not like saturation. No, it's more real. I hope HDR becomes the real next thing everywhere. Not like let's get rid of 3D and they put the HDR. It was super nice, and that's when I went there with a picture there. And then at the end, it was actually the whole.
You're part of the jury, right?
I was, yeah. And I'm here in the middle. They had the honor to have one of the big names in Ubisoft there also participating. So it shows real commitment. So very nice. Let's hope we can see this in from other studios as well. Hello from Industrial Light and Magic. Oh, nice. Hello.
From London, Singapore.
What exactly?
I don't know. No, I met people from ILM that are Blender users, but on SIGGRAPH Asia in Singapore.
Singapore.
Because ILM has a few. I think they have an office in Vancouver as well. So just curious.
Awesome. Yeah. Where are you from? And how big is your Blender team inside of ILM? Or start building one. All right. I think we can start with the. Do you have any other presentation that you think? Have you met any?
Did you mention my presentation?
Your presentation? Oh, I know. I didn't actually. How rude. I was waiting for the right. It's for the right moment. Here, backstage. Look. Amazing. So, your presentation. I completely forgot because it came out of nowhere. Nice intro, by the way.
Did you watch it?
I was there. I came slightly late, but I was there. I missed the first part where you were showing your face multiple times, and the picture of the. Look at how young.
That's not that long time ago. That was 2016.
Gee, man, you're aging. No, it's the hair. It's getting white.
I had just a haircut in that morning before coming there in the hotel. But anyway, so Gemma couldn't make it, and I had this presentation ready. I gave the 1 hour long talk on Hyde conference in Brazil. And I told Francisco and Tom that if you guys want, I kept this presentation as a backup. Anyone doesn't go there or there's a room. And it's common, in these big conferences. But since it was a long talk, I was expecting to be in one of the side attractions. And I told them I had only one request. I just wanted to be sure that it wasn't conflicting with Yama's on talk.
Yeah.
Because I met him last month, so I wanted him to maybe have a taste of my talk because it was in Portuguese at the time. And I did some heads up, but basically like one past one, I was just when Francisco said, okay, you can have it. Have 50 minutes to really make it short and to the point.
Super nice. I like, yeah, at some point you showed Plumiferous here, and I took a picture of that.
Because people forget the history, and Plumiferous was the first feature film made in Blender.
Yeah. Yeah, regardless of the end result, it's, wow, crazy.
Yeah, because if you talk, I am 34, 5-ish. If you talk about next gen and Tangent, we should also acknowledge that. How many years ago? When was it finished?
I worked there in 2006, 13, 14 years ago.
I haven't watched it, the whole thing.
Oh, good. No, I haven't watched it either. I watched, I skimmed through it, but I didn't watch it. So super nice. You talked about it's a nice walk around, history of the Cult Quest and development and everything here in open source. So
I've watched it twice already.
You watched it twice?
Yeah.
Are you like rehearsing for
like feedback? Yeah, it helps. I watched it last at Blender.Today another time as well.
What feedback do you have? I try not to watch Blender.Today. I watched it a few times, but I try not to because it creeps me out to watch me doing it. Yeah. Sometimes I watch it, for how the audio is, how the video quality, but I don't know. For me, it's a bit.
For me, it helps to know whether I was speaking too fast and if I was too short. So now, for instance,
too short, like.
I just help in general to see how, I don't know, I just like watching myself talk. It doesn't matter.
All right, I think we're about to begin with this, with the talks there. What's going on in the chat? ILM has their own in-house tool. I don't think they use Blender.
Yeah, I didn't mean that they use Blender, sorry. I meant that some of their employees, they use Blender.
But I mean, it doesn't have, Ubisoft also have in-house tools, but they use Blender for some things. We have our own in-house tools. And we use Blender for everything. So in-house tool doesn't mean like, Pixar 2. Yeah, it's in-house tools for everything. Kaneganti. Okay, let's ask. Let's start with the question. So we switch into there. Question mode. Ta-dan! First question. Kaneganti Sai. Hey Pablo, please bring Manta Flow ASAP. Love the live stream. Thank you. Manta Flow is here, right?
Well, Sabas is working on that. I was actually looking at the code just last week at the build he had, and at the code even. Manta Flow is supposed, we expect to have it in 2.82. 82. The problem is that Bastien is the one assigned to review it, and the review is still in the level that more people can help. It doesn't need to take time from Bastien. So we're still going to see how we do it. But at least some of it would like to have it in 2.82. 2.82.
So that is February.
That is February, yes.
Wow. Nice. Yeah. So just sleep all the winter until it comes. Or go to a summer country like Brazil. Brazil there has summer there. All right. Second question is Frost Crack Studio. Why not add super chat on Blender.Today live stream? Because it's part of the Blender channel is not monetized. There is no any kind of monetization. If you see an advertisement, it's because maybe there was an image or video or sound or music that it's copyrighted, and then YouTube adds them. But the whole deal is that Blender YouTube channel is not monetized. There are different opinions on that,
and there are already so many ways to contribute to the community. So if you like the Blender.Today, you can still support it by donating to the dev fund.
Yeah, exactly.
But at least dev fund, and maybe you write down, hey, I love the Blender.Today.
If you want to, exactly, better than super chat, you can go to fund.blender.org and join there. Of course, you're not gonna get the question like, you don't get all the colors. Like it shows, yeah. But I think there's not so much traffic in the chat. I think we can still read the questions. But yeah, no, it's not there. I have it on Blender.Today, but it's like it's more like a gesture. But yeah, YouTube gets a bunch of revenues from it, so better to donate directly on development or fund.blender.org the same way AMD joined last week together with Embark. Last week was amazing for Blender development, Blender support. So, Boris, what is this? You're making this even more...
Yeah, you said that, and people are clapping like madmen.
They
joined the stage.
Yes, they were clapping too much and even standing. And I was like, dudes, you're making this more weird. Yes.
You played so nicely. It was super smooth. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Have your own talk show.
Well, some people were suggesting that I should do it at least like once a month of not showing Blender features, but just like sitting down in a couch with Blender artists or developers, just chatting, about Blender stuff, of course, but in a more relaxed way. You get a different point of view. Maybe it could be Blender couch, Blender sofa, Blender what?
We had this idea before.
Yeah, the Blender couch was an idea before Blender.Today even. Well, when I was doing Blender Hoy and you were doing Blender Hoje, Minuto Blender for the which is like the Portuguese version of Blender.Today, edited, not live, right?
Correct. That's why it was taking too long also.
Yeah.
Such a drag.
But the live streams are so easy. You don't have to edit this thing. It's over. Top, done. Next question is by Frostcrack Studio. Why is the new VFBX export missing some options? Gets corrupted in Unreal. Why is it that 279 is still better than 2.8 for FBX?
We did remove some of the unmaintained options. I think that's what we're referring to, which is the option to export ASCII. ASCII. But everything else should work. If it doesn't, please report a bug.
Please report a bug. But one of them, there was another presentation about AAA games by the guys that are working on... Where was it? It was somewhere here. By the guys working on Call of Duty. Here.
Oh, I saw the beginning of the presentation. I thought, you know what, I can watch it later.
Yeah, you should watch it later. So basically, they show how they're using Blender here in some of the assets, and like Call of Duty, Modern Warfare.
I'm just surprised they still do Call of Duties to this date.
Yeah, that too. But they also make their own tools, and he also presented at the Lightning Talks on the second day. He had a 5-minute slot talking about his add-on, which is also pretty nice. You should check it out. Very advanced. Call of Duty has Blender in it.
I used to love to play
for some assets and some more. So awesome. Next question. Now that actually this came because of they're also using FBX, and I told him, hey, you're a developer. Hey, you use FBX, and I got Bastian, who is the maintainer at the moment, and I got them together, and I say, okay, now kiss, now go talk and make things happen. So yeah, SwiftX. Hi, I make sims in Blender and I would like to see big updates to the smoke system and some tutorials on it. I saw many bits on YouTube, but they're like 5-10. I want to see some professional stuff like you can curse here. Like Blendini. I know Blender can do it, but I don't know how. Well, about new updates, yes, you have the Manta Flow coming up to replace the smoke system, fluid system in Blender.
And if you want professional examples of the even existing system, just go to the Spring file. The Gooseberry is a pretty good one. The Cosmos Laundromat.
Cosmos Laundromat, yes.
Oh, the whole tornado was so good.
Yeah, exactly. That was using the smoke simulation. And if you search for smoke, you're gonna find, I think even in Spring there is a smoke, or no, the tutorial, the main tutorial is by smoke sim tests.
On Spring as well, that's cool.
Here, smoke sim with extra layer. So yeah, if you look for smoke in here in Spring, you're gonna find amazing stuff. And in the, like you said, in Cosmos Laundromat, there is actually the smoke workflow, which is even more, which hasn't changed pretty much since Cosmos Laundromat. And speaking of Cosmos Laundromat, did you hear the news?
Second chapter is in production.
Cycles, number 2, second cycle. So here not cloud,
Here,
but
no, point density clouds, maybe?
yeah, swirling cloud
swirling
node,
cloud
node setup. So you had node setup. There is a video, even wind testing. So
Is the Glab whole nebula or work also using smoke simulation?
not simulation. I think it's just textures in Eevee.
Okay.
There's no simulations.
Not the Eevee, no, but using cycles.
Yeah, but sorry. Yeah, because then they use all the cycles
I still need
improvements.
to watch his presentation of.
Oh, you should watch it. It's awesome. Next question. I wish you guys to make more tools for animation. You're in luck. Both the dope sheet and timeline sidebars are basically empty and are good candidates for advanced tools. There also the graph editor needs a pass too. For example, if you zoom in one key, it looks blocky.
I love the criteria for we can have new features. Reminds me of the old days when the UI was so cluttered and you need to have tabs, and we had this real state problem in the Blender interface where everyone wants to have its own features there and buttons.
Everybody wanted to add stuff, and now that there is room because of all the reorganization, we should add more features. But yeah, the tool system is it's supposed to work, it's meant to work with any editor. So right now only the 3D view and the image editor have it, but the system could brought to any editor basically. And yeah, the curvy lines when you are in subframe, I think it's acceptable. I mean, it could be adaptive, but really, I would prefer to have it faster, drawing faster than having it super detailed. Because remember, these are like polygons, so the more detail you add, it's gonna look nicer, but it's not really gonna make it more precise, right?
Or I wouldn't really. I have a hard time considering that a big issue, as you say.
Yeah.
But
next, and also you're working subframes here, so I think it's acceptable. Hi Pablo, love the show. Any new about the changing color of the face orientation? Why did you change it? I think this question, I should have asked this in the Ask Me Anything. No, any news? Like this question comes up every week. Actually, you were here last week and this question was also asked about changing the color of the face orientation. Any news? No, there was a conference, so we didn't even talk about it. No. But maybe, do you think it's a good example for a new developer to jump in and work on it?
Just say,
like maybe is it too hard?
I think at least
just looking at the colors and being able to add a new feature makes me want to try it.
Oh, if there's a design that so what do they even want?
Huh? Like this being
face orientation.
Face orientation, yeah. So just being able to treat
just a themable. That's a really good project.
Yeah. It's a very easy project for a new.
Not only easy, I think it's something that no one would say no. As in, very clear design, very clear engineering way to tackle it, kind of for the theme and all that.
Yeah,
it's definitely.
So it's a good, as you heard it first in Blender.Today.
I don't know why you want it, but I think it can work as a good project. Who cares? More theme options. There's so many already. Anyways.
Yeah. No, I guess there are reasons, and this is very, very visible.
If you wanna do it, I can review your code. Do you wanna do it yourself? That's what you said.
Holy crap!
You can do it.
Okay, we do it live on a live. No, okay, maybe not.
The GLS code is gonna be.
It's gonna be the longest, the most boring live stream ever. Anyway, next, Paul Hartsauker. Pablo, love your shows. Thank you. Saw you at Blender conference. Fine presentation by you and many more. Congratulations. I feel like the forgotten stepchild at the family dinner. Why? There were no focused presentations on NPR except for the grease pencil discussion. I enjoy freestyle, but it crashes on more complex scenes.
If it crashes and it's not because of the memory in your computer, you can report it.
Yes. LandPR also crashes and it's incomplete. Well, LandPR is under development, yes. We need an NPR movie project, obviously. Artistic line rendering, watercolors like shaders, and not just grease pencil, despite its fine features. I'm maintaining a build on graphical of the LandPR branch, thank you for that, but want to be able to work like Sylvan Comet and Miyazaki with Blender. And the tools just aren't getting enough attention. Yeah, well, no, nothing to add. It's true that they're not getting enough. Well, they're getting attention, but
there's a whole Google Summer of Code on that.
There's two Google Summer of Codes of the LandPR.
Yeah, but the same one 2 years in a row.
2 years in a row, yes.
That's kind of the same one.
No, if you're getting
No, yes, but so,
two
yeah,
summers to work on a feature.
And the author, I forgot his it's a complicated name.
Wing, yes.
He's he watched last Blender.Today.
Yeah, he was here on the live stream. Yeah, probably he's here right now. If you are, please raise your voice and make your, like, see, you see, it's here. It's a project. There is a final report. Is pending code review, together with many, with many other branches, I guess. These code reviews take time, and the summer is just over, so it will take time. But yeah. As you can see, there are results. Is not the fact that it's not getting enough attention, is that there are too many things that need to get attention, starting with like undo, asset manager, everything.
I have to go because I have the Monday meetings in 8 minutes. I need to just get ready.
8 minutes. Okay. Thank you very much for being here, and thank you for let's all go watch his talk.
I also have in my personal YouTube channel. It's I did some daily recordings
on your YouTube channel.
Yes.
You really? YouTube.com/DiFelinto?
DiFelinto, yeah. Because it was 11 years since I first attended the Blender conference. So on my Vimeo channel, this you don't need to go there. I do have some record, like you can see Andy with his spiky hair and Brecht so young.
Oh my god!
So I tried to show this year the same excitement. That's the alarm for the
meeting.
The development meeting. So if anyone is curious,
that's awesome. I didn't know you were making videos on YouTube. Why am I not there?
I didn't know you're quite busy. You're elsewhere. But it's very sad. The third day, because I got there, I recorded. I was biking, and I was showing everything that I haven't shown. And I said my goal is to find Yama. That was my goal for the day.
Yeah, and it was not.
And then I saw this big screen with all the thing that was going on, and I saw someone tweeting about Francisco's talk. Like, oh man, I forgot about his talk. So then I had to break it, to cut it short and run for the main theater. And I think I just ended the video there, but I missed the entire talk. I got there, it was too late already. And then everything happened. I had the VR meeting, and then I had to present the talk.
It's great for you too. So wow.
But watch it.
Watch it. Subscribe. Let's see if it goes up. 1.66K. Let's see if it goes up. Awesome.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Gracias, Dalai. Obrigado. So I'm gonna shut your microphone and continue, just like nothing happened. So I'm all alone here again. By myself. No, I'm kidding. I'm all of you. Let's continue and see what's new in the... okay, I switched to one camera. What a production, please. Let's continue with the question. So yes, Paul, there is attention being put into NPR. There was no presentation, but just for example, there was a presentation about the sequencer, which is getting some attention, but still the presentation, if you watch it, it was more about getting attention in the sequencer. So maybe we can push more into getting more people excited about NPR, getting more developers especially excited about it. So I personally am a big fan of NPR. I think the next short film that I make, be it Caminandes or whatever, I want to do it non-photorealistic, but more than just non-photorealistic, like stylized and detail, but in a nice, painted-ish way. Ruth Wick, Coupe de Grace. Hey again, Pablo, will there be a possibility that the presentations from the speakers be released publicly? And there are many cameras and sound issues. Yes, in the previous years we did it. I need to ask Francesco if this is possible. I can ask him, because in the previous years this was done. But yes, the video quality was excellent, but there were many camera and sound issues. Yes, that's true. Oh, the GSOC normal and bevel. Actually, that one was one of my favorite talks. But if you look at the live streams, unfortunately, it wasn't. It's only their faces. Like it never changes to the actual screen where they show what's new, but at least you can see what was asked, what it was shared, and what's the status of the Summer of Code normal editing and bevel in shader. I was really happy to meet Hans. He's working on the custom profiles for bevel. So you have to, well, you can watch it, you can hear it, but basically you can you can make a bevel any shape you want and even come out of the bevel side, and you're basically modeling with beveling. It's amazing. I hope I can show it in a new episode. Guys, focus on camera tracking in Blender. Yes, there's a feature request. Ruth Week, another question. Hey, there was one hell of a conference to watch. I binge watched most of it live. My question is regarding the newly announced Blender conference in the US. Will that be held at the same time as the main conference, or will it be like a few more months before and after it? The idea is that it's exactly on the opposite side of the year, of the moment of the year. Blender conference, Amsterdam, October, at the last week of October, during the year, last week of October, so it's like fall. And Blender conference, let's call it Americas, US side, but it's more like for the whole continent, right? For that side of the world, should be, the idea is that it will happen in April, at the end of April. So that at least that gives a few months, and we can go there, and Ton can go there and give the keynote, because it's gonna be an official Blender conference. So yeah, still it's in our heads, but it's a lot of things to organize. But the idea is that it's at the end of April, US, end of October, Amsterdam. How powerful Blender is, it's how powerful you are with Blender. Next question. I am just answering a question from the live stream. Blender Continental. I like that. Nice. So we can make it in Patagonia maybe one day. All right, next. Rex asks, hey Pablo, thank you for streaming. Did you read the proposals by Jack Luke on the new particle system? What do you think of it? I've seen the proposal, but I haven't. I've seen him. He was working here for 1 year, so I've seen him working on it and even gave some feedback on it. And I'm pretty excited about what the possibilities are. He is a creator of the animation nodes add-on, which it's insane. And the fact that he is working now on such a low level functions branch, it's all the functions, all the building blocks. As a first example of this system is making the new particle system. So it can only get better. And if you see the Ask Me Anything presentation on the Blender conference, he mentions that procedural modeling, and like the sky is the limit. You should watch it. Next, Sebastian de Cilia. So basically, what do I think of the new one? I think I trust Jack. It's just amazing. Hi Pablo, I would really like to analyze more this incredible quad remeasure tool. I think it's very powerful. I also think that is there a way where Blender topology should focus. The only bad thing is that it's not free. Here I leave a comparison with QuadriFlow. Quad remeasure versus QuadriFlow. I think I've seen people have been sharing this, and it's a completely different tool. Yeah, the end result, there are quads, but they're just different. It's like the denoisers. There is no one perfect denoiser. I can see how this is especially for organic shapes, it's much better, but I can see the other one working for other kinds of shapes. So I think both have we shouldn't take one and replace with the other, but just use them whenever you need. I'm just reading that the UI is in Spanish. Interesting. But yeah, I don't think there is a perfect one. I think quad remeasure is amazing, and I wish we could have it, but apparently it's not free. Even though if it uses Blender, it should be open source. But I don't know enough to talk about it. Question, Pablo, what was your favorite talk this year? Also, Dalai, what was your favorite talk? So he mentioned, Dalai already mentioned, what was my favorite talk? I think it was, the one from, I already mentioned the one from Ian is one of my favorite ones. The Blender Hoy, it's in Spanish. I also had the time to get the the Spanish community together and we talked about it, but of course it's only for Spanish. The other presentation that I really enjoy is Hjalti's. It was a masterclass of how to pose your hands and stuff. So you should really definitely check it out. It's only like 20 minutes and it covers like after you see this, you'll never watch any animation film 2D, 3D the same way again, because you start seeing things like, this is why it works. So you should definitely check it out. The Hand of Animation by Hjalti Hjalmarsson. Next, I was wondering. Okay, see you next week. Saying nice edit. I was wondering why the high resolution divisions for smoke simulations are capped at 10. I made this artwork, but I feel I could make the clouds a bit more sharper looking with a higher resolution division setting. Wow. Yeah, you probably could, but I think at this point you should just play with the actual the subdivision. So you can subdivide high resolution at 10, but the voxel size you can change it. You can make it even smaller. So I think if you play with those values, you could achieve that. And the reason why it's a 10, it's mainly because of it just can get too high, too many resources, and it's like preventing from issues from happening. But I wonder if it's possible to even go further by just setting the value by hand. So if you go to high resolution and then it's 10, but can you make it like 20? No, it's a hard capped at 10. Yeah, I guess it's because every step is multiplying, it's a multiplier. So it's like every step you go, and maybe it could be higher if you manually set it. Next question, Spencer. Oh wow, I'm 5 minutes already passed. Okay, let's do 5 more questions. For this one, Spencer Singer. Hey Pablo, do you ever know if we will able to have light textures or node support for lights in Blender Eevee in the near future? Yes, actually, when I mentioned this to Clement, the developer of Eevee, and about the light nodes, and yeah, he said yes, totally possible. This is just the first version of Eevee in 2.80, so in the future it is definitely possible, and Cycle supports nodes in their lamps, so lights, so Eevee should too. Next question, number 4. Hi Pablo, any news on particle systems? I need to know how to animate scale and opacity along birth to death. You can do that already. There is, remember that the particle system is end of life, so it means that it's not gonna get any new features, only fixes. And in 2.82, hopefully we're gonna have a new particle system. But if you can't wait, you can add in the particle settings, you can add a texture, and the texture can be influenced, can change over time of the lifetime of your particles. So that should give you some room to play. But remember, this is gonna change in 2.82, so that is like February, more like maybe 2.83, depends on how it goes. But next version. Next, Aaron Smithy. I suggest having a scalar value factor, which you can modify in the material preview, mainly for materials that use micro displacement. The material preview can be so distorted and look unnatural. Maybe the material preview could be a pop-up that would make them big, then close, finish. Oh, that one, that material preview. Yeah, the thing is that the material preview is just, it's a render, it's a tiny render. I don't think it's the best way to see I'm not a big fan of it. It can be slow, it's only one thread, it's a tiny blend file basically. So I usually keep it close and try to focus here and use collections to only calculate the objects that you wanna work on. So yeah, I think I better focus on making the viewport work better. Hi Pablo, I haven't seen all of the videos from BCON, but Tom's keynote was charming. Last time I wrote about the bisect modifier. Well, I made it. I uploaded code for review, really, but it seems core developers didn't accept it warmly. The code has errors and the modifier still lacks some functionality, but I'm working on it. So, well, some warmly, they're requesting changes. You added me as a reviewer, but I'm not really a developer to review. So actually the developers I should review are in this case, for example, Sergey, or other core developers. We can discuss more on the thread, but I'm not the person to add as a reviewer. Usually you can leave them, you can just skip the reviewers part, so the developers can assign it themselves. But the fact that you added it a few days ago and it's already being reviewed, that's a very nice sign. It's October 24th and it's already getting reviewed. So yeah, let's move on. And what else? The last question, Sergey. Hello, Pablo. Every time I wait impatiently for your show. Thank you. Great idea and great realization. You're great, and thank you for the whole commune so much. Blender without an increase filled my life with a whole new specter 10 years ago. I'm not very strong in English, but if I get it right, I will be able to draw multi-layer soon. Yes, you're right. So your English is better than you thought. What would it look like? Would it be like a substance? Will the textures texturing be improved? For example, now I think works the brush of blur. I want more functionality similar of Krita. Well, yeah. Pablo Navarro, the developer that is working currently on sculpting and painting tools, he mentioned in the live stream that I did in Spanish in Blender conference, he said that his goal is to have not Krita, not the substance, but Krita plus substance kind of powers inside of Blender. So mind blown. And I kind of believe in it. He already proved it, so yes. All right. I think that's it. I will try and make it short. So thank you everybody for staying until the end. Sorry if I didn't get to answer many. Well, that was the last question while I had this open, so success. Check out the rest of the Blender conference. Very nice. The one like he was mentioning here in the comment, the keynote by Ton is also very heartwarming. You can see everybody excited about it, about the conference. There is the Ton brings up this talk, this presentation about how Blender has to become a bit, has to grow, has to become a bit more, professional, but in the whole sense of the, like, when people say, no, Blender will become professional, or like, what does it mean that Blender becomes professional? Well, if you are new to the community, you may not know, but not really long ago, not that long ago, the developer meetings happened on Sundays. Really, like it was on a Sunday, the developers meeting. That shows that it was like like if this project was more like a hobby or so, but no, there is people living, like having their all, like, living out of Blender, developers full time, and there is a whole, family and community on it. So moving it into Mondays was kind of a big thing. It's like, oh, that means that actually it's more serious. Now we're actually getting, we're doing it as a part of our job. And that's one of the ways Blender could become more professional. But also investing in the onboarding, getting new developers, getting making the code a bit more readable, more fitting in the standards, or so people can jump in and collaborate even more easily. So yeah, that's one of the ways. And then at some point he also mentioned that he said, I quit, and it was a what moment, and then he said, no, I quit as in one day I am gonna at some point step aside, just dropping it there, just in the long future. So he wants to set up a board of people around Blender, so they can do the same work that Ton is doing right now, but more on a like keep of course keeping the foundation, but more like focusing on Blender as a whole, as an actual, you know, the project, the size of the project that it is. For example, here, like becomes a real working company owned by the Blender Foundation, so they can hire the Blender Institute. It organizes the conference, organizes it's what hire us. So it's important to make it clear. Fund foundation directors for operations and development, like relations, and install a foundation supervisor board. So a team of people, which is basically the same people that it's working on it right now, but in a more formal way. So yeah, that it's a very interesting conference talk. You should watch it. That's it. Let's cut it out here because it's already 10 minutes, 13 minutes past. Thank you everybody for staying until the end. I'm glad I managed to answer all the questions that I had at that moment when I opened the page. It's been a while that I didn't manage to do that. I'm happy that I managed also to talk a little bit here on the chat, hanging out with people live in real life, because not only conference was real life, this is real life. It's all real. I met some of you this weekend, so pretty happy that I get to do it again. Let's try doing it again next week. Maybe not next week, but the week after. Why? Because next week I'm actually gonna be in Animago. I'm gonna be in Munich for Animago. So Animago is a conference that happens to happen from the 2nd to the 5th of November. So that means that is gonna be on the 4th, on Monday. I'm not gonna be around here, so I'm gonna miss you for 1 week, but I will get to see you again on the week after, which is the 11th of November. Wow, sounds too far from now, but yes. Otherwise, if you're around, if you're going to Animago, if you're in Munich or so, maybe we cross paths. So that is all. Time to go with style. Thanks everybody again. It's been a pleasure. I will see you again, not the next week, but the week after, 11th of November, at the same time, same place, same channel, for this that we call Blender.Today Live. In 5, 4, 3. Thanks everyone. Ciao. Have fun. Download Blender, download stuff, share, make, create. Ciao.